Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cut and Splice. This is Jason, and as usual, I'm here with Matt and Gil. And tonight we are talking about um, what is probably an odd choice, but a movie that I picked called Hundreds of Beavers, which was made a couple years ago and is uh, pretty close to being a silent film, like a modern silent film, I guess. It's using silent film techniques, but it's one or two moments where they kind of like have someone say something out loud. But yeah, it's a comedy, and it's very silly kind of movie. But yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised on the IMDb page when I saw awards, 20 wins and 12 nominations. Wow, that's
Did you see that before or after you watched it?
no, just now. Also, the Metascore is 82. Wow, like the critics really like this movie.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm getting like a little bit of a vibe of like The Artist, you know?
Yeah.
Remember that year where The Artist
I
won
do.
Best Picture, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It was a mediocre movie at most. Just because there is like no dialogue doesn't mean it's a good movie.
I think this movie, since you brought it up, I think this movie did a lot more for like the art of visual storytelling without any dialogue than The Artist did. But then, that's just me.
That too, yeah, yeah, for sure. No, definitely. I don't know. I will say one thing, for whatever it's worth. As we get deeper and deeper into this movie, it got me in the mood. I think I'm over the edge. I think my next pick needs to be a Chaplin movie because we should watch like a proper silent movie, like a masterpiece of a silent movie, just so we can see how it's done. Because yeah, I don't know. It's funny, and then I made a movie that had no dialogue and barely anybody noticed. So people can go fuck themselves. I mean, I made one that did really well, but then I made a second one, but and it got some attention, but not as much as the first one. But whatever, it's all good. All I'm saying is that like you need to also have value within the movie. It can't be that just because there's no talking, it's some like, oh my god, special achievement. Yeah.
What did you think, Matt?
I think silly is the perfect word. I and I do agree that in terms of actual silent movie story, like visual storytelling, yeah, I mean better than The Artist. I mean I mean for a movie with no dialogue, there are very few title cards
Right.
throughout.
There's only like maybe 5 or 6, I think.
Right. I mean, like Chaplin movies, like you spend a lot of time reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
This movie you really didn't spend much time reading at all. But I mean it's definitely a movie that had a really quirky way of trying to get across what it was trying to get across, and it it really stuck to its guns all the way through. And I mean, gotta respect them for doing.
I think the to sum it up, the IMDb says describes the movie as 19th century supernatural winter epic, wherein a drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating hundreds of beavers. Essentially, this movie is it's hard to, it's weird calling it live action, but I mean, it's a live action like movie that's a lot of slapstick, and it's really silly with like a childlike sensibility to it, where it's like it's kind of got I feel like a Looney Tunes level of like of realism to it, and consequences. But yeah, it's just essentially about a guy trying to become a fur trapper so that he can marry a girl that he's really into. And
you stumbled onto.
yeah. But I was gonna say that I don't know about you guys. You know, the well, I don't know. We could talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I laughed a lot, and I really liked it, but I do have a few issues with it. And yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but I liked the ending, and I liked the movie overall.
Yeah, I would say creativity wise, there's definitely a lot of effort put into it. I can see that being rewarded to some degree. It's just the level of creativity is it's very unique. It's I mean, it's a big swing when you think about like some of the stuff. Like this is not a spoiler because you can see it in the poster, but like the characters are all like just like crappy costumes and and stuff like that. But it's mixed with animation, and it's a very like unique approach. I think the guy was an animator or something. Like that was his background. So that's how he kind of like came about this. But yeah, that's the biggest thing about it. But I did definitely get a like a Wildy Coyote slash video game vibe to it. Yeah, like
a lot of Coyote in there,
and a lot of like like pinging and like scoring and very very like video game vibe towards the mid part and close to the end. But but yeah, I mean, as far as rating it, it would be tough for me. I do think that it didn't hold my attention very well. Like it was a bit exhausting. I definitely think you could have trimmed 10-20 minutes to make it just a more solid like flowing movie. So I would probably like put it somewhere like a 6. I mean, I would like to inch it to 7 just for creativity, but I feel like I need to keep it a notch under. Yeah.
When I think about it, the positive things, I want to give it like something really good, because like there was a couple moments where I was like really laughing a lot, but like I couldn't go as high as like an 8 or something. Like it has some issues, and I agree with you, Gil. It's too long. I'd probably say like a 7.
Yeah, I think I'm in the 7 area too, and it is kind of interesting. Like the movies, 40 minutes or something like that. I actually watched 2 movies in the same night, and the other, the movie about Saturday Night Live that just came out, and
was it
like, they're
good?
both the same length. Oh yeah, that's a very good movie.
Okay.
But yeah, they're both about the same length, and but I mean, Hundreds of Beavers just felt longer to me. I mean, like, I especially toward the beginning, like, I mean, a lot of the comedy was still like pretty solid. It was just kind of repetitive to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was going to get into that more when we break it down. It's got a couple issues for sure.
Yeah, but
this was the director Mike Cheslick, his first film that he ever directed. I never checked to see if he directed any others. I'd never heard of him before. Yeah, this is his first and only feature film that he's directed. He did some shorts before this. So, anyway.
Yeah, and kind of the funny thing about this movie is that it is one of those movies that you could definitely justify being less than 90 minutes. Like,
yeah.
I think that we should. This might be a little bit of a sidebar, but I mean, we should be able to, justify movies being shorter than 90 minutes, a lot more easily than we do that. Uh, I mean, if you've just got a 77-minute story, then just tell a 77-minute story. Don't try to pad it, any longer. But
well, I think especially nowadays, right, when a lot of stuff's just being released and streaming, it's like, why not make it whatever length you want it to make it?
Yeah, and being what, an hour and 45 minutes. I mean, just right then and there, like, you cut 15 minutes off, you just got a solid 90-minute movie.
I think 20 minutes shorter would be excellent. That's what I wrote down right here. 20 minutes shorter on my notes.
It'd be like 128. Yeah.
The two scenes to me that I felt started getting really tedious were the scene that I think Matt was alluding to. The film is broken up into like 3 sections, kind of, or I guess 4 if you count the opening song. That's like the introduction of his character and the inciting incident. Yeah. But so yeah, we'll count that as one. So like it's like 4 sections. There's the first one, which is just a song introducing him and the fact that he's a Applejack salesman, a successful Applejack salesman out in the woods and such. And then tragedy strikes, and he is left with absolutely nothing out in the middle of the wilderness, and he's got to try to survive. There's a whole section of him surviving, and then from there, there's a whole third section of him trying to, once he's kind of succeeded at least in surviving, now there's a whole section of him trying to learn how to become a trapper and learn from his mentor. And finally, when he decides he wants to marry this girl, whose father insists that he brings him hundreds of beaver pelts, then it's like a whole 4th section of him trying to achieve that, but the first, or I should say second section after the song, especially if you're going to have 4 sections to the movie, it's like I felt like that whole first part of him surviving is important, but went on really long. Like, I mean, he fails to kill rabbits like 7 or 8 times. I mean, like it goes on and on and on. And then the other one was for me was towards the end. I mean, they kind of earn it because they're building up to it through the entire movie. But I mean, there's this part where he has to go into what I would only describe as a beaver megalopolis. I mean, it is insane, this giant beaver city that he is in. And I mean, I thought that part was funny, but there's like a chase that takes place in it, and it is like 5 minutes probably solid. Like, you could have cut the whole thing down to 30 seconds. I mean, like it goes on and on. And so, yeah, I mean, I think 20 minutes easy. Could have even been about 85. It would have been real solid.
Yeah, to me, I mean, this whole movie just feels excessive. I'm like, wow, this could have been like a 20-minute short and launched his career, and he would have saved so much trouble. But I'm glad it worked out. Like, it seems like it got good reviews and it won several awards, so I think it still did what it needed to do for him. But I was just like, the amount of effort that's going on here. And yes, I'm pretty sure very few people will see this, but a lot of movies are not seen by a lot of people.
Well, after our tens of thousands of fans here, I'm sure they're going to go run over to Prime and watch it.
Yeah, exactly. We're like trying to help the little guy get out there.
Yep.
In any case, I guess should we go into spoilers?
Yeah. I feel like we almost already did.
Yeah, almost. Who knows? Who knows? Tough to know. Like, we're at the well, one thing I was gonna maybe ask Jason to refresh me, because I finished watching it a few days ago. and you just finished it. In the end, like, how does it end? I'm trying to remember. He gets the girl, but there's a whole thing where the dad jumps in, right?
It's just that was just one last dumb bit of like comedy. It didn't like, it wasn't there. It wasn't meant to affect the story at all. It's just that the father asks him for hundreds of beavers, and at the end there's like their beaver pelts are raining from the sky, and so he's dipping the girl to kiss her because she has agreed to marry him. And right before he kisses her, the father's just so overjoyed by the amount of beaver pelts that he has that he runs in and kisses the guy. But that's not like, it's not like a it's not meant to be like anything have changed about the story or anything. It's just that it was just the happy ending kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's it's good to know.
Talking about the length thing, I was gonna mention. I think there's a clear, like a clever storytelling device framing device that they use, where when he meets the merchant, he's got his menu board, if you want to call it, whatever. He's got a sign with prices for all of his wares, how many pelts you need to get what item from him. And he has to start out with like a penny and then work his way up and get each tool that he needs to start getting more and more pelts and so on and so forth. And it's very clear that the way it's going to go, because, at one point the guy insinuates that there's like the potential for marriage if he gets so much or whatever. And I thought that was clever and a good way to frame it up, because otherwise you're kind of like just watching a bunch of crazy, like Looney Tune-esque Wile E. Coyote scenes, and it's like it gave it kind of an obvious drive and direction, I guess, and motivation for the character and all this stuff. But for me, I just expected, because the last thing on there before the right before the last thing where he would succeed is like, I don't know, he needed like 8 or 9 pelts at once in order to get a gun or something. And at that point he had already spent all this time with an older tracker, and they had this comically large Santa Claus-esque bag full of pelts that would easily be enough for him to succeed, but it was deep inside of a cave full of wolves. And so like I just thought to myself, well, this is clear he's going to get the gun and then he'll be able to succeed because he can go in there and get the pelts from the wolves once he has the gun. And I see a clear path to victory here. I don't realize there's like 30 more minutes to this movie after he gets the gun. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's good that they went big at the end, but that's just, I wanted to mention that because it's like it illustrates how in my head I saw it going a certain distance in a certain way, and then I was just like, wow, this is gonna keep going. Okay.
I was like, it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly when they stumble onto the onto the Civil War. Is like, whoa, I guess this movie is not over yet.
Well, I mean, if they hadn't done the whole Beaver Megalopolis thing, then they wouldn't have had what is probably the most insightful moment of the movie, where it's like trying to show the other perspective because they're going to turn him into a coat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's true. And also, I mean, the whole sequence in the he does have like that one moment where he has the dilemma, like of drinking the whatever, the cider, or
that too. Yeah, that was
like
a
the
good
dilemma
one.
of like go for the drink or go for the woman, or like like be responsible or
the thing the responsible thing for sure, because it's the fun and it's the alcohol aspect, but also the thing you lost versus the thing you now want.
yeah, which make takes me back to the beginning, like that technically the whole premise is a bit very thin. I get that he sees a girl and he's like attracted to her, but really he was sort of just trying to like, find he was lost in the woods in the snow. Once he finds the cabin or kills a few animals to like get some money, shouldn't he just like find a way to like just get out of there? Because get a job somewhere. Like it seemed very strange for him to stay there. Like he's barely surviving there, and then he makes it his home of sorts, and then he starts the whole thing is very odd. Like he doesn't have a home. He had a business at some point, but the business collapsed. But it's just the logic here is so strange, because like if it had any logic at all, once he made some money, he would try to get out of there and then find a proper place to sleep, a proper place to get a job, like not become this like men of the wild. Unless, I don't know, maybe there was a way to tweak it where like the survival aspect of it in those first 10-20 minutes like was so adrenaline rush that like he wants to commit to this life. I don't know, like it's like his new passion after like losing his first business. But the whole thing is a very thin, but like you said, it's a silly movie, and the motivation is like, half-assed at most, that it doesn't matter. But it bothered me slightly that it's like, hey, he found somewhere, and now, okay, he can work some to make some money, but why is he staying there? Like, it seems like it's a shitty place to stay.
I hear you, but I think the answer is just that he's in love.
Yeah, he found like exactly, like he comes there and he sees a girl, and it's like the whole like farmer's daughter type of thing. Yeah, I mean that's what men want, is alcohol and women.
Too true. Way too true.
Yeah, let's just say generally it's like drugs and women. There's many types of drugs can also be food and whatnot. Yeah, anything that makes you happy. I mean, he's trying to like hunt for food too, like in the beginning. So yeah. So what did you guys think about the whole using of the costumes?
It's my favorite part of the movie, really.
Yeah, probably.
And when I say part, I mean aspect.
Yeah, one thing I would say is, like, I don't know why, but it felt to me to like some very, very distant ADHD cousin of like Eraserhead or something like that. I was like, it's got the black and white. It doesn't have like a whole baby component to it, but there's like a whole like, I was like, if you try to look at this as some sort of like profound movie, maybe it's this thing about the struggle of life to find love, how you have to go through many trials and tribulations. And it is chaotic, like Eraserhead, just in a very hyper sort of way. And if you wanted to read the movie that way, then like maybe that's why the reviews are so good and stuff, because like they're trying to read too much into it. And yeah, I think it reminds me of like Spielberg's like first TV movie, The Duel. Like where he said like it was like well received in the US. It was like technically well made and stuff, but like in Europe they fucking loved it. Like, and not for the technical reason. They said like, oh, it's a metaphor for the struggle of this, and the truck symbolizes that and this and that, and nobody thought about that in the US. So sometimes you can read into things. So there is something in this movie if you would like to go there.
One of my favorite things about the movie is that I don't know about how you guys feel about this stuff, but like there's a trope that you see in some movies. I think mostly you see it in certain types of comedies, but it's the type of comedy where it's like the main character is trying to achieve something, and it's just like a series of negative things that keep happening over and over and over. And that was the feeling I was getting from the first section that I said was tedious, where he's surviving out in the woods trying to get rabbits and stuff, and he just fails over and over and over. And even when he has like a tiny success, it's also a failure followed by a failure immediately, kind of thing. That trope is one of my least favorite things in movies. It's the reason why I don't like the movie Meet the Parents and many other movies like it, where it's just like, I know what the main character is trying to achieve. I know, that some of these jokes are well written and that there's characters and that there's a whole logic to all of this, but I don't want to spend 2 hours of my time watching the character I'm rooting for fail over and over and over, especially if a lot of it's not his or her fault, and those kind of movies, they just really frustrate me and bother me. And so I was getting a little bothered. Now, at the same time, I was also laughing a lot because of how silly the movie is and how funny the look of it is. But I was very happy when the movie got to certain points and he starts to succeed a lot, and along with that, not only was I happy that it did have a lot of ups and downs of his successes and failures along his journey. I liked that, I mean, we all kind of just talked about it having a length problem and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think one of its positive aspects is that you do feel that he goes from, you feel his journey, he goes from being able to catch nothing at all to learning how to catch stuff from someone much better than him, much more experienced than him. And then it's not like he just gets handed the book, of secrets and suddenly he's just as good as the other guy was. He has to go through a whole learning period of figuring out how these things work and how he can achieve the same level of success. And then it eventually surpass the other guy, and I appreciated that. It's it did of course add to the length, but there's something very, very satisfying, I feel, when we sat there for too long, admittedly too long, watching him never being able to get these rabbits. Like the rabbits keep getting away. He can't get the rabbits. He's starving to death. He can't get them. They keep escaping through comical means. And then when he manages to kill one, these damn raccoons come and eat the thing before he can get to it. And then it happens again and again. And it's like, you just start to hate these raccoons so much. And there's such a great payoff when he likes the girl and he's not allowed to even talk to her until he, has business there, which means he needs to get an animal so they can process the animal. And he manages to kill a raccoon finally and gets really beat up in the process, but he manages it and he gets there, and it's this like such a struggle for the very first one. And there's this long comical scene of the girl disemboweling the animal. And it's got these little comical X's on its eyes, and they're showing all the plushy organs coming out of it and everything. And it's just so rewarding because you're like, I hate that raccoon.
There's definitely something to be said about the how he starts out like being so at odds with nature and the challenges and the animals, but then by the end of it, it's all like it's almost like he's the one, like Neo, like the like he uses the bird with the whistling and all that. Yeah, there's definitely something you can take away from it about like how life is a struggle, but as you are passionate, dedicated, and like work really hard and like get up when you fall down, which he falls many times. That's why it's very like video game like too.
It is
to some degree. But
I think even the menu board thing is very video game like.
Oh no, that thing is what I think. Yeah, to some degree it started out, and then once the times 1 times 2 when he kills them like that does it. yeah, but any thoughts you have, Matt, that we haven't covered yet? I guess what did you think of the look, Matt? I'm curious. Not that it had much lighting to it. It's mostly like pale white on the snow, but a good choice, I guess, the black and white with the snow.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was cute. I mean, it just kind of, I mean, everything kind of fit. I mean, it's definitely one of those movies that, I mean, it's one of those things where I actually kind of think that it fit the movie like a glove, that they just clearly didn't shoot it on film and they just decided to like go like, with post effects, like really cheap post effects and everything. I mean, I mean, I think that it would have been like, they would have been taking it too seriously if they actually did a lot of the like in camera effects and like did it like full on Charlie Chaplin, like, old school cinematography and everything like that. I mean, like, it kind of fits the parody upon parody, and
Yeah.
the just the whole, yeah, it fit the whole aesthetic. Yeah, I mean, it cheap, quirky, silly, odd, and like it's supposed to feel cheap.
Yeah.
And I think that they achieved that. But
The budget was like 150,000, which is impressive given the amount of effects and quite a bit of
They said like
shooting.
10,000 of it was for the costumes, over $10,000 worth.
Just the costumes, yeah, which is surprising given the how cheap they are. But like they had a lot of them. They had hundreds and hundreds.
I think the head parts were probably the most expensive part. I mean, like they're pretty big. There's a lot of material in those things.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it was a staff pick. Wow. I would say is like the lead guy looked a bit too modern, too modern hipstery for 19th century. but that's fine. It's not the end of the world.
There were.
Oh,
go ahead, Matt.
I was just about to say, I blame that more on the hipsters than I do on the actual actor, because like that's pretty much what all hipsters did, is like, create the whole
19th
look
century.
of, the lumberjack who doesn't know how to change a tire.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's on the hipsters.
There were 5 things in this movie that made me laugh so hard. Most of them are aesthetic choices and use of silly props and costumes that really just fit the motif and just made me laugh. But in no particular order, the moment that the girl starts disemboweling the raccoon and stabs the knife in, and then if you're not watching careful, you almost don't see it, but as a replacement for blood throughout the entire movie, all the mascot animals seem to bleed styrofoam packing peanuts. And to me, that was hilarious. But especially in the scene where the girl is cutting him up for the fur and everything. But I also thought it was really funny that when he's with the trapper guy and they've got a dog sled team, that every time they go to bed at night, that the dogs are playing poker.
Yeah.
And then when it's down to the one dog, like he's playing solitaire. That just made me laugh a lot. But and I wish they had done more with it, because they don't really do anything with it. But the Indian character, he's credited as the Indian fur trapper. they a lot of this movie is people following tracks in the snow, and the moment that you see horseshoe tracks, like the guy's confused at what they are, and the Indian points, and he's got himself a horse, and the horse is, of course, obviously it's a panther horse, costume. It's two guys or two people in a horse costume that's like, the 2-person type ones, and that made me laugh a lot. The other one is the fact that at some point the beavers start getting wise to the fact that he's killing them and other woodland creatures, and out of nowhere they have this duo of investigators, which are clearly supposed to be Sherlock and Watson.
Yeah.
They got a Sherlock and Watson beaver. And that to me was funnier than any of the other stuff. Like, I mean, it's funny that they have construction beavers and architect beavers and things like that, especially seeing the beavers wearing high vis vests and hard hats and stuff like that. But the Sherlock thing really made me laugh. But other than that, the one thing I just wanted to mention wasn't really a prop thing, but I like that the dogs do it with the other animals. The beavers with him whenever he's going to attack the beaver, or whenever he's attempting to get the animals in the first half and failing and stuff like that. But I love that the excessive violence moments just get replaced with like an old school gang jump. You got like 4 or 5 animals around one person, and they're just like kicking and beating him. It's so comical. And there's that moment where it happens to him like twice in a row, and then he tries to, for some stupid reason, he thinks he can sled down the hill and take out one of the beavers, but there's like 4 of them now instead of like 2. And I'm like, oh man, you just got jumped by 2 beavers. You're gonna get torn up now. And sure enough, they're just kicking him while he's down and stuff like that.
Yeah, one thing I'll give the movie credit, like as far as visually, I felt like the Beaver Town, like that whole complex, between all the sequences in it, like the design of those, plus the trial thing. I don't know why, but that like it's the only thing I was like, it felt very Kafkaesque to me, and I like that. Like I like that aspect of it. Like even though there's nothing Kafkaesque about it, he's murdered many of his of their compatriots. So obviously, like they would want to sentence him, but there was something about like being in this web of like like maze, and then he ends up in this trial that's like kind of like a ridiculous trial because they're all animals and he's like a man.
And the judge has like a British wig on, like the way that the British judges have.
Yeah, that was like a moment where it was like yes, like that was a nice touch, like
the Southern lawyer cliche as the prosecuting attorney is like the suspender wearing Southern lawyer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's when they're kind of like shooting on all cylinders.
Yeah,
I think what it is, it's like many movies, it's just a bit too much. Like I feel like if you trim this, trim that, like it cut all the stuff that's either repetitive or not the strongest stuff, you can have a really solid like hour and 20-minute movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it would be like I guess it was already a festival darling, but I feel like it would be that much more likable as a movie if it didn't make you sit those extra 28 minutes.
I mean, it's a movie with no dialogue. You're asking a lot from people for being how long it is and how repetitive it is. It's really a big ask.
Yeah, exactly. So as much as I give them credit for the ingenuity and the creativity and the work, it's like it could have been, and it seems like it was for them. I don't want to say anything based on the reviews and everything, but it could have been such a home run if it was just like if the best part were picked out and focused on. But it's all good. Like like we always say, it's like, it's tough to make a good movie, and who knows what the considerations are, and ultimately it was their movie, so if they wanted to go that far, that's what they wanted to do. Maybe they want. Sometimes people just want movies to be exhausting for the sake of being exhausting.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how you connect to his journey, like, because you're as
Well,
exhausted
that's
as
very
somebody.
Eraserhead if you're going to mention that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Also Kafkaesque. Who knows? Yeah.
You brought up the courtroom scene. I don't know if you guys felt the same way or not, but I just felt that there was something subtle and hilarious about the defense attorney that's on his side, because, as you said, it's like a sham, right? I mean, it's not a jury. It's ridiculous to even make this statement, but I mean, he's killed so many beavers. He's in a beaver mega city thing. Suddenly he's in a beaver courtroom. It's clearly not a jury of his peers. It's a jury of beavers. It's stupid. It's so stupid. And there's something funny and refreshing about that scene, because it's not just looks, that they're actually using sound now, but to keep it that silent thing, it's all just beaver talk. So the judge is like doing the order thing, and it's like kind of things, noises. And the moment that that prosecutor shows up and does the same noises, but now somehow in a way that conveys this, Southern character, is so funny. And then the whole time the guy is distraught, because even though he has clearly killed hundreds of beavers at this point, they are accusing him of stuff he didn't even do. Like, they're accusing him of really ridiculous stuff, and he's distraught. And there's this moment where his defense attorney is just a beaver with a white tie on, and he's very calm. He's not upset. He's not worried. He doesn't even look concerned. And there's this moment when the main character is like doing this whole like, I don't know what to do. Oh no, they think I'm a monster. And the guy sitting next to him he just takes his hand and just like puts it on his shoulder, like, don't worry, I got this. He's so confident, and he's just like, you sit tight, I got you, don't worry. And then he's terrible.
Yeah, also, isn't there like the moment after, like, when they're trying to like cut him up, he just has like some sort of vision, and then when he comes to, like, he just kicks all their asses. Like, it was a very odd way that I had to rewind it, actually. It's like, wait, how did he get out of there? Like, how did he just like decided that all of a sudden he's gonna get out of there, because they're holding him down. There was I guess the vision of the old trapper, the Santa Claus, whatever character, that he thought it was him, but it was actually like a coat they made out of him. And then he gets out, but there's no device. There's nothing
there was. It just that was probably the worst storytelling in the movie, actually, in my humble opinion. But he sees the trapper and he thinks he's going to be okay, and then he realizes that they're going to make a coat out of him. And as they start to make what do they call it, the garment marks on his skin for where they're going to cut him and stuff like that, and it's like the all hope is lost moment, he looks at his arm and realizes that they've tied him down, but they've tied him down.
He loosens
the knots that he knows, because he's a trapper now and he's experienced, and he realizes that they only are tight because he's pulling on him. So the idea is supposed to be that when he loosens his grip and he's not fighting against it, that they come loose or something. But I mean, that's kind of not really how ropes work. So it's silly.
I did, when I went back, I saw that, but also the spinning wheel disappeared.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It's a chaotic scene, but it's not the only issue with the movie.
No.
I mean, overall, I guess I was watching it, like, it took me several sittings, and I was like, wow, this is like excruciating, even though I appreciated some of it for sure. And it's excruciating, but also by the end of it, it's refreshing. It's funny because you know what? Maybe I should give credit to the movie because like there's in the photos here on IMDb, I think it's a screen grab from the thing where there was a quote in the movie where it says, "It is always hard to see the purpose in wilderness wanderings until after they are over." So maybe it was that like you're supposed to like feel like this is excruciating, and then by the end of it is like, huh, I'm glad I sat through that because I've never seen anything like it. It's kind of crazy. But so I don't know. Maybe that was all the intention. There's many movies and books that like do that intentional thing of exhausting the audience to make some sort of point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like the Quran.
What? The
Oh,
Quran. Okay. Sure. I've been meaning to actually getting an audiobook for that.
I'm going to be curious to find out whether or not you're going to be rewinding it over and over and over again because you are going to think, they already told this story, didn't they? Like, no, they're just telling it again.
Oh,
Interesting.
really? There's a lot of repeating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the story about Moses turning his, Moses' staff turning into a serpent is told like 9 times during the course of the Quran.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, the repetition.
I mean, seriously, when I was reading it, I kept having to backtrack and it like double check that I didn't like that my Kindle didn't like jump backward or something.
I think at this point I might actually be there's I saw this video online about apparently the Talmud, which is this book of wisdom, a Jewish book that was written like in the Middle Ages or something. Apparently it's extremely popular in South Korea. It's like everybody it's like their Catcher in the Rye. Like it's like everybody reads it. I think they have like a Buddhist influence there and stuff, and I guess some of the Talmud stuff is very like kind of like how to live a life, like how to be moral, like how to that type of philosophy type of thing. But they're really into it. And the main reason why they got into it is because like, hey, look at Jews. Jews are very successful. We should read something they've written. So that's why it's like one of these weird things. But so I was like, maybe I should sit down and read it. Yeah. Even there was a guy who a meditation teacher that said that he did a meditation retreat like with Leonard Cohen's the singer songwriter. He's Jewish, obviously. And he was reading the Talmud, and the guy told him like, "I thought you were not religious." It was like, "Oh, it's this is like basically thousands of years of wisdom of my people that they put in this. So there's got to be at least something that's worthwhile reading." So yeah, who knows? But,
Yeah.
but I guess we got all the way there from hundreds of beavers. Yeah, I mean, like that's definitely I give it credit. I don't know if I would inch my thing to a 7, because I do think it was unnecessarily exhausting. But because I feel like even if it was 20 minutes shorter, it would still be exhausting. It's not as if it would be like an easy watch.
I think it'd be a lot of fun if it was about 20 to 25 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
I guess perhaps a good way to end this would be to say, who do you guys think you would recommend this to?
I guess we should have done that in the beginning, but
I know, but it's okay.
Go ahead, man.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something, but I don't know either. I actually, it's funny because one of the reviews here say like how this would be like a perfect midnight screening movie. I can see that for sure. Like it's just like this when people are kooky and late at night. But yeah, it's a tough sell. Like it's really mostly would be like film buffs and people who like to watch very odd movies and say like, hey, check this out. Like it's it's the equivalent of like watching a foreign film to some degree, because the language, the film language, and the the visuals are so not what you're used to, that it's gonna be challenging for just anybody. I mean, they say like one of the funniest movies of the year, but I don't know if the humor here would land with everybody. Like if the few giggles in between are worth the sitting through the barrage of of whatever's going on here. Yeah, I don't know, but thank you for recommending it, because I'm like many things, I'm glad I saw it, but I don't think I would ever see it again.
Well, I wanted to make sure that we had at least one silent film and out of all of our episodes and reviews.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna do a Chaplin movie at some point, but
I beat you to it though.
yeah, you beat me to it. Yeah, I was like, you know why? Because I kept debating between Modern Times and City Lights, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should do a double episode. That's like,
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
To me, I always felt like those are his two masterpieces, even though The Great Dictator is and also Gold Rush have a strong reputation, but I do feel like those are the two movies that I've seen of his that he barely misses a beat, like a note. Like there's nothing, no false notes. It's just like stellar from start to finish.
If we were to do those, I'd have to double check and see, but I do think I have access to both of them on, or I think we have access to both of them on HBO Max, I think.
Yeah, it's on Max, and also I think one of them, if not both of them, are on Prime, and I think also Tubi with ads. So like, there's definitely a few options to watch them, which is maybe a good excuse to do that next, since this movie got it on our map. I don't know if did either of you have you seen both of them or one of them or?
For me?
Yeah, I mean both of them.
Yeah, I've seen both of them.
Both of them.
Those are both on my list of movies that I definitely needed to watch and never got around to.
Oh, okay, that's good. So at least one of us haven't seen them.
If we did do a double episode, it would force me to watch both of them. So it would be like excellent. It just need time, obviously.
Yeah. And they're both like an hour and a half. Like they're not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. See the way this one should have been.
Yeah, I mean, although we think even maybe less, but
yeah, perhaps 5 to 10 minutes less than that.
Yeah, because I think what it is and you can even see it with the Chaplin humor. It's like, yeah, I think they're both like 1 hour and 27 minutes, but that it's just more it's more well balanced. Like the sequences, like the pacing is much more, but it's one of those things you can't explain it. It's like the Tarkovsky thing where, I don't know, like most of his movies are like too slow for me, and then Andrei Rublev has like 5 scenes for a 4-hour movie, but for some reason it works. Like it's something about the flow of it like works. So in this movie, the pacing was, even though it was very fast, it felt exhausting. And then Chaplin, I feel like, I don't know why he just like, in the movies they'll like really nail it. Like it's just such a brisk pace, but it's not too much and it's not too slow. It's like just right. I don't know. But
definitely something to think about.
But that's something. Yeah, I guess if we watch it, we'll see how it holds up.